Well, hello everybody and welcome to the week before Thanksgiving SonRise Sunday School. And look who's here.
I'm not Peter, but I do have his hat.
Yes, Pete couldn't join us this week, but Miss Beth Ann said she would be happy to step in and help us out. So, wasn't that great last week, the Manger Project? I thought that was a really, really good thing.
We had a lot of fun. We did. And nobody smashed their fingers, which is even better.
No, a few people got painted here and there, but, you know, mostly it was really good. So.
They even painted the church, too, so... And I almost got it all off, but we sure had fun.
It was good. I hope you all enjoyed it. So anyway, in the run up to Thanksgiving, we have looked at 3 different things or people to be thankful for. We did family, friends, and last week teachers. So today we decided to look at something a little different. Actually, we're going to do the story of Thanksgiving itself. Do they still teach this in school, Miss Beth Ann?
They do. They do. And I remember, I believe it was in 8th grade history where they really, really talked about the details of the Pilgrims and that they were the first Puritans that came. So yes, they do teach that.
Okay, well that's good. You sometimes begin to wonder if nowadays people don't really know what the holidays, how the holidays started. You know, it's kind of got lost in travel and shopping, right? It's the busiest time of year for flying or driving. And then it's followed by the busiest night and day of shopping.
Black Friday.
Black Friday. So, but things might be a little different this year. What do you think? Maybe in a good way?
I think in a good way, Kathy. I agree.
Yes, I think so. Which would make it a very good time to remind ourselves about the who, what, and why of Thanksgiving. So, Miss Beth Ann is going to tell the story for us because I think she knows it a little better than I do.
Well, I've studied it more, and do you remember Kathy's from England? So she had a little bit of the history, but we know it. We know more of it. The story begins not here in America, but on the East Coast and back in England across the Atlantic Ocean. Now, do we live on the Pacific Ocean or do we live on the Atlantic Ocean? Right, the Pacific we live on, and so we're talking about the other ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. There was a group of people called the Puritans, and they weren't very happy with the church in England. And in fact, they didn't even want the English people did not want them to even love God and learn God their way. So that's why they said, let's go, let's get out of here, let's move somewhere where we can start our own churches and show other people and share who God is. At first they went to Holland. Now I forgot about this. And Kathy's the one who brought it up. In Holland, they spent years over in Holland, but it didn't work out for them there. So they decided to sail all the way across the ocean now to a new world, and that was us here in America, North America. They set out in 1620.
Wow, Miss Beth Ann, that's 400 years ago this year. That's a long time. And how long did it take them to get across the ocean?
66 days.
66 days, wow. And how many people were on that boat?
There were 101 men, women, and children.
Gosh,
yeah. Wow. Miss Kathy, do you happen to know the name of the boat?
This one I do know.
Yay!
This one, it's the Mayflower. I got that one right.
Yay! Right. Well, the plan was to travel to the part of America where New York City was. And we have a map, actually, and Miss Kathy's going to show you exactly where it is.
See here, if we can get the lighting. So they were supposed to go down here to Long Island. That's where New York is.
And what is in Long Island now?
That's where Ellis Island is.
Right.
That's where the Statue of Liberty around this area, right? But they didn't make it, did they?
Nope.
They only made it to Cape Cod and Plymouth. Wait, it was called Plymouth Rock, though, wasn't it, Miss Beth Ann?
It was.
It was. But then they renamed it, I think, the town of Plymouth. So that's where they landed.
And why is that important that it was named Plymouth? There's just some interesting facts you guys need to know that Kathy and I talked about.
Yeah, well, Plymouth is a town in England.
Okay.
And actually a lot of the towns around here, I can't read it because it's all backwards to me.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of the towns around here that I recognize as English towns. So they just came over here and settled and gave their new towns the names of their old towns. So Plymouth is a town on the coast in England.
In England.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting, guys, if you think about it?
Right.
Kathy even said in Australia the same thing. There's a lot of places that are English origin. So that's very interesting.
So Beth Ann, were they the only people when they arrived? Were they the only people living there?
Gosh, I would think no, but you know they were probably afraid that there weren't going to be anyone there. But there were other people, and they were Native Americans. Native Americans who had been there for thousands of years before them, and they had villages, and they had families, and they had set up their whole different lifestyle. And some of them were called the Wampanoags, and the other were Abenakis, and those are the name of their tribes, their Indian tribes. Some of them were called they were very friendly. They weren't unfriendly, which there are some in Native Americans that were unfriendly, and this was nice that they found the good ones. In fact, two of them came to visit them one day, and I remember studying the books. I bet you never remembered Squanto.
We weren't taught it.
Yeah, well, Squanto was an Indian who actually knew a little bit of English, and he wanted to help the Pilgrims or the Puritans. And so he went with great advice on how to tend the dirt. He taught them how to plant corn. He taught them how to plant vegetables. But the most important thing that he shared was how to actually keep the ground healthy so they could plant new crops as they introduced them. That was very important. In several meetings, the Wampanoags and the Abenaki tribes made an agreement with those settlers, the Puritans, to protect each other tribes that weren't so friendly, because remember there are a lot of tribes, I'm sure if you guys remember some of the history, that they weren't very nice.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like really something to be thankful for, right? So is that it? Is that how Thanksgiving got started?
No, not quite.
No?
One day the leader of the Wampanoags heard gunshots in the far distance, and they thought that the English settlers were looking for a war, because they had that in their background, and they were very protective of their properties. So he went to see them to see if the rumor was true, if maybe they were trying to approach them and take over their property. It was then that the agreement that they had made would be over. So if they wanted to start a war, then they wouldn't be friendly with the Puritans anymore. Instead, they discovered that they were hunting. They were hunting for food, and they were getting ready for their harvest celebration. They were thankful for the very first real harvest since moving to America. So they'd been there, say, what, a year? Is that what a harvest would be, Kathy?
Yeah, sounds like it.
The leader thought that it was a grand idea and got his men to join in. And for 3 days, they ate. Can you imagine eating for 3 days?
No, all that cooking and cleaning up.
Danced, and no kidding, they danced and they sang, and they were just that's a little different from, what kind of food? I forgot to talk about the food. That's the most important.
Yes, it is.
Well, they didn't have just the roasted turkey like we do, or cranberry sauce, or all of our favorite things. They had deer, and then they had shellfish, which a lot of people don't introduce shellfish in their Thanksgiving meal here in North America. But they had other roasted meats, and those were the things that they ate every day. And that's a lot different from our traditional Thanksgiving meal. They also played games, and they danced, and they sang. It was a true celebration. It brought them all together in a wonderful way. It's also thought that they were offered prayers, which is very important, which is Kathy and I to bring in that the Puritans, they came there so they could worship their God freely, and that's our God. And they offered prayers and thanksgiving because he kept them safe, and he gave them a wonderful harvest. And that kept them they're from their first year in their new home. They praised the Lord. So that's what Thanksgiving was about.
So did I'm interested. Did the Wampanoags and the other tribes and the settlers, did they just carry on forever celebrating like that?
No.
No?
Sadly, no, they didn't. After many years, the peace between the two sets of people were broken, and the Native Americans wouldn't take part in their celebration anymore.
That's pretty sad.
But this is fun too. In the 1800s, so go 200 more years, a campaign was started to create an annual National Thanksgiving Day. And my favorite president in 1863, President Abraham Lincoln, declared that the last Thursday of the month of November would be Thanksgiving. And that day we would give thanks for general blessings. And that's where we get our traditional Thanksgiving of today.
Wow. Well, that's quite a story. I didn't really know all those details before now. So this has been very interesting for me to find out. And I love that originally it was a joining of different people, different cultures to celebrate and give thanks. I think that's just beautiful. We should be doing that today. We should be thankful that we can do that today, right? And not just to thank God for general blessings, but for all of our blessings. So how many of you have a tradition when you sit around the Thanksgiving table of each person saying out loud what they're thankful for?
I do. We do.
Do you? It's a lovely way to remember how good God is to us every single day. And, you know, how do we say thank you to God? And how do we say thank you to people in general? What kind of things do we do?
We have a pretty special way.
We do.
So
we sometimes send cards to people, don't we? And what kind of cards? Well, we can remember them and on your birthday card. I don't know if you can read that. Put it a bit closer. We can do a birthday card. Here's one I like. We love you, Mum card. Right? And if you have a baby, ahoy, it's a baby. Oh, I'm covering up the baby, I think. We can just say, celebrate with cards. I don't know about you. I love getting a card. I always tell my boys, I don't want a present for my birthday. I just want a card. For some reason, that's very special to me.
It is special because it came from their heart.
Yes.
And cards do that. I mean, it's great what they now say. They almost say everything on the outside of the card that you want to say, but just to hear "I love you" from your loved ones, you're right, Kathy. It just makes your heart feel good.
Maybe that's a challenge for this Thanksgiving. It doesn't have to be a card that you've gone to the store and bought. You make your own card, draw your own picture, and just tell somebody how thankful you are for them. They'll be completely blessed by that, won't they?
Yes, they will.
Yes.
Even more than a present.
Yes, I think so. All right, let's get to the nitty-gritty of Thanksgiving, Miss Beth Ann.
Yeah.
What's your favorite food?
Oh, gosh, that's really hard, Kathy.
It is?
I think the biggest would be Tom the turkey. I love turkey. I like the thigh. That's what part of the turkey that I like, and that would be probably one of my favorites. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
No. Let me think about it. How about you?
Well.
Oh no, I remember. I also like when you do the stuffing. The stuffing is so important. That goes with your dinner too.
Okay.
I really like that. My mom makes the best stuffing ever. Her dad used to always make it, and since he's not here, then she makes it now.
Good. Yeah. All right. Anything else?
No, I think we're good.
You're good. All right. Well, here's my.
I forgot. If you have stuffing, you need gravy.
Of course.
And so you need gravy, and you put all the fixins in there.
You do.
And it's so good with the turkey and the stuffing.
You do the giblets.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yes.
That's
all
good.
right. All right. So you're done?
Yeah.
I can do my favorite now?
Yeah.
Okay, here it is.
Oh, no, I forgot. We also put on a table, since it's not Thanksgiving yet, we do a Pretzel Jello. It's really good with a turkey. Or if you have ham, too, it's really good with a ham. But it's made with raspberry Jello, and you crush up on the bottom these wonderful pretzels. It's so delicious. So
sweet and savory all together.
I think I'm almost done.
Well, that's like a...
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Olives. Who doesn't love olives? My whole life, I take the olives and I put them on my fingers. So I eat 10 olives every Thanksgiving. It is probably my favorite. I used to get in so much trouble by my grandmother. She used to say, Beth Ann, that is not proper. But I still put them on my fingers every single year. It's a tradition.
I think we need a picture of that one, Miss Beth Ann.
I should find one.
I can't imagine you not being proper.
Oh, boy.
So maybe we need some evidence of that, right?
I rebelled. I did.
Okay. She's still not done?
No, we have cranberry sauce, too, that my brother has to have, because he eats the white meat. So he has to have the cranberry sauce, and he eats it always together, and he eats, like, a whole can of it. And... maybe one more thing. We love the sparkling cider, but it's just it's really yummy with the turkey too. I think I'm done. I think
you're done?
Good. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, here's mine.
I'm sorry. There's one more thing.
Okay.
Jeez, and that's we get at the end a choice of either a pumpkin pie. My mom makes the best pies in the world, or pecan pie.
Ooh.
And you can get a little tiny slice of both. It's just delicious with a Cool Whip. So good.
Wow.
It was good. But Tom's my favorite. I'm
Right.
done. Miss
It's
Kathy.
quite a feast.
Yes,
Quite a feast. Well,
it's
I'm
all
just going
my
to go
favorites.
hungry this year compared to that, because cranberry is my favorite too, and I love stuffing as well. Cornbread stuffing. That's right, and the cranberry. But both of those also along with Tom. So good. Well, we hope that you all have the best Thanksgiving feast, that you remember to give thanks for all of the blessings, right? And all of the people around your table, however many that could be. And if there are people there that are not there that would normally be there, maybe you can give them a phone call or
Great idea.
or a FaceTime or something, or a Zoom, and so everybody can be included. That would be a wonderful thing, wouldn't it? It really would.
I love that.
So,
We even got a puzzle this time to put together. It's the most beautiful nativity scene.
oh, good.
Only 500 pieces, thank goodness. But you know what? We're
That
trying
should
to
take
figure
up some
out
time.
something, yeah, that
Right.
everybody could have a little piece of.
Yeah.
Just like you said, this
Good.
being together is very important.
It is. It is. It very much is. So, one more thing before we go.
Okay.
Well, we can't forget the other hat, right?
Yeah.
The hat that's got the fruit of the Spirit in it for this week. So we've done self-control, joy. Last week was gentleness. So what are we going to do for this Thanksgiving week? Miss Beth Ann gets
Okay,
to
I
pick.
get to pick.
Don't look.
I'm not looking. Can you guys see?
Goodness. Goodness is a good
Goodness.
one. That's a really good one for this week, I think. So
I think so too.
practice goodness. Goodness in the things you do. Goodness in the way you treat people. Goodness in your words. All of these kind of tie in together, but basically just try to be a good person and know that God will help you to do that if you ask Him.
He will.
So,
and thank you. Do your thank you card. If you
Yes.
don't do it for real, like a little art project, then do it in your head when you pray, because
yes.
He loves your prayers and He hears them every time you lift them up. But tying in that fruit of the Spirit of goodness, and He wants goodness in our hearts, and that means kind to your neighbors and just be good to each other.
Yeah.
Just love. Kathy
That's
and
right.
I love each other.
We
We
do.
love being here, and we miss Peter.
I know. He'll be back next time.
Good.
But you really do look splendid in that hat, I have to say.
Thank you. Yes, I do. I've never worn a cowboy
You just
hat
can't
before.
take it home.
Oh, I won't. I promise you.
All right, well, we're done for this week. Again, have a blessed Thanksgiving, and we will see you next time.
Ditto.
All right.
Love
Okay.
you.
Bye, kids. We
Bye.
love you. God bless.